That's President Trump earlier today responding to a question about this Saturday's nationwide anti-Trump protests called No Kings. And now America's largest private sector employer, Walmart, is again finding itself in the midst of a political firestorm because of those protests. That's after the company heiress, Christy Walton, see her there, paid for a full-page ad in the New York Times promoting the riots. The movement calling on Americans to mobilize on Saturday to defend against aggression by dictators and to reject authoritarianism.
The move sparked the rise of the boycott Walmart hashtag on social media, stoking fears that Trump-aligned consumers could avoid the store in protest. But Walmart, they are pushing back. The company's executive vice president of corporate affairs, Dan Bartlett, released this statement on X and posted this: "We condone violence, including when it's directed towards law enforcement and damaging of property. As a company with associates and customers in the Los Angeles region, we remain focused on their safety and that of impacted associates. The advertisements from Christy Walton are in no way connected to or endorsed by Walmart. She does not serve on the board or play any role in decision-making at Walmart."
And here now with reaction, management and marketing professor at Touro University, John Tantillo. Trump Advisory Board member Jason Meister is also back with us in studio. Great to have you both here. All right, John, what do you make of that? Do you think that people will boycott Walmart, or that the statement from the company that there is no association between Christy Walton and the organization will keep people going into the stores?
I think people will keep going to the stores. I think they made it, they delineated that was a personal opinion on a person not in management, but as a stockholder, and she is entitled to say whatever she wants, even though people may disagree with her. And I just think that this term king is a 18th century, 17th century concept, because my question is, are CEOs kings? Are generals kings? What do we mean by kings? There's got to be somebody that organizes and points in any institution in a direction, and what Donald Trump is doing is taking a different view and making what I would say the president a CEO rather than a king.
Yeah, I doubt it's going to have much impact on Walmart here. Jason, this is what I wrote in my notes about this story. She is someone who married into an extremely wealthy family, who benefited of all aspects of this country, totally detached from reality, socialite, now living in another universe. Your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with all those comments. Look, this has nothing to do with kings. This is pro-NATO, pro-war, anti-tariff. By the way, from a company that sells the American people's garbage that's made in China. This really is unbelievable. And also it comes on the heels of all these violent riots that are happening all across this country. You can't say this is acting in a vacuum. So I think they're just priming the pump for violence. And they're funding essentially an insurrection across this country. So it's to me, it's disgusting and has nothing to do with kings.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, and John, it is, to Jason's point, very challenging when you look at what's happening in Los Angeles that has been going on for several days, that is now spreading around the country. And I can only imagine that things may reach a fevered pitch and very, very dangerous levels around the country with this ridiculous event that is being promoted on Saturday, when President Trump simply happens to be having a parade to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Army. Do you think we could see some very, very terrible outcomes, violent outcomes this weekend?
We could, but let's be a little bit more optimistic and think that the tactics that the president has taken will prevail, and calmer minds will, in fact, work itself out. I just think that the word king is a inflammatory term, and it really connotes where you're coming from. If you are a business person, a CEO is not a king. He's a manager. And what Trump is trying to do is become the chief manager of the United States.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, of course, they're using an incendiary word to imply that, of course, there's an authoritarianism element to President Trump. And again, they're very wise with their marketing, but again, completely out of touch. Gentlemen, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.